What if the home you're about to buy here in Oviedo, Winter Springs, Winter Park, or anywhere around Orlando could have a property tax bill of $0? I'm not exaggerating this, and I'm not selling you on anything here unless you want to buy a house from me. Our governor just pushed through a major plan, and it's headed to voters this November. It could be the biggest change on how we pay for our homes in this state that we've ever seen in like a very, very, very long time. But here's the part that nobody's really talking about. There is a catch that is buried in the fine print, and it affects people who are moving here very differently than people who already live here. So whether you're relocating to Central Florida or you've been here for years, stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's happening, what it means for your wallet, and the one date that you need to circle on the calendar. Let's get into it. Okay, so some quick context, that way we're all on the same page. For years now, Florida homeowners have watched their property tax bills climb higher and higher. The amount that local governments collect has nearly doubled in about 7 years. So this turned into a real kitchen table conversation for a lot of families. In response, the governor called a special session at the end of June, and at the start of June, the legislature passed it. The House voted yes, and so did the Senate. But here's the most important part. It's not a done deal yet. It is a proposed change to the state constitution, which means that it goes to the voters of Florida on November 3rd, and it needs a 60% approval to actually happen. So no matter how you feel about it, no matter how I feel about it, it's going to be up to the voters on November 3rd. Now, before I break down what's actually in this plan, and trust me, the numbers are going to surprise you. Quick heads up, if you're thinking about buying or selling around Oviedo, Winter Park, or anywhere in Orlando, when this takes effect, could change your numbers by thousands of dollars a year. I cover this kind of stuff every week right here on my YouTube channel, neighborhood by neighborhood. So do me a favor, hit subscribe, tap the bell. That way you're never caught off guard by a change like this and you are in the know. And if you've already got a move on the horizon, the link in the description goes straight to me. No pressure, no spam, just local, real answers. All right, let's talk numbers. Let's clear this up right now because the headlines have been all over the place. You've probably seen Florida's eliminating all property taxes everywhere, and that is not quite what's on the ballot. Here's what it actually does. There are three main pieces to this. Piece one is a much bigger break on your home. If a home is your primary residence, you get what's called a homestead exemption. It's one of my favorite things I love talking about whenever people are moving to Florida from a state that doesn't have a homestead exemption because it's such amazing news. Now, part of your home's value is protected from the property taxes by having this homestead exemption. Under this new plan, that protected amount goes way up. It jumps to $150,000 in 2027 and then to $250,000 in 2028. So let me put that in plain terms. If your home is worth $250,000 or less, your property taxes, the non-school portion, I'll explain that in a second, could drop to $0. If your home's worth is more than that, then you'd actually be taxed based on the value above $250,000. The governor's office estimates the first step alone wipes out property taxes for about 60% of homeowners in the state. That is incredible. And if they push that number higher down the road towards $500,000, then 90% of homeowners could end up paying close to nothing. Piece two, this one's the part that no one's really talking about, is that school taxes are not a part of this. This is huge, and I think that this is where people are really getting confused because, again, people are not talking about this part. The original idea was to get rid of all property taxes, including the part that funds the schools, but lawmakers changed it. The final version does protect school taxes, which, especially in Seminole County, I'm happy about that, definitely. I know that this is like a little bit political here, getting rid of, all property taxes, but I will say I do really appreciate them keeping this part. So even if this passes and your home is under that $250,000 amount, you will still see a line on your bill for your local schools. Your bill won't be a flat out $0. And I want to be straight with you on that because some of the marketing out there, it kind of skips over that. Piece 3 is a cap for rentals and second homes. And this is another really big question mark that's been circulating. The plan lowers how much of the value of a non-homestead property can rise each year. So that's your vacation homes, which Florida has a ton of, your rentals, apartments, commercial buildings, from 10% a year down to 5%. So if you own a rental or a second home, this really affects you too, just in a different way. Now let's talk about how it actually affects you based on your situation. So if you're moving to Florida, this part I really need the folks who are moving here to catch, because there's a piece in here that a lot of people are going to miss. There is a waiting period for new residents. That's kind of an interesting thing, right? The way that it's written, if you establish Florida residency after a certain date, and right now they're thinking it's gonna be January 2027, you might have to live here for up to 5 years before you qualify for the full tax break. So let me say that again because it matters. I want you guys to be super informed, and the exact rules are still getting finalized. So this is kind of just what's in the works right now. The whole point, the way that the governor framed it, was to take care of the people who actually live in Florida right now, and to avoid a giant wave of folks moving in just to grab the tax break. So what does that mean for you if you're coming from New Jersey, New York, Illinois, my people in Ohio, from anywhere? It means that don't assume that you're gonna walk in on day one with a zero property tax bill. The big break might phase in for you over a few years after you move, but the people who live here already are already first in line. Now, I am a real estate agent. I'm not your attorney or an accountant or a CPA. That's way above my tax bracket. And the exact mechanics here are still being worked out. So if your whole move depends on this, talk to a Florida tax professional. You can DM me, I'm happy to introduce you to one, but you needed to know this provision exists because almost no one relocating is factoring this in. And here's the good news. Even with a waiting period, Florida still has no state income tax. That part has not changed. So when you stack up against a high tax rate, the income tax savings alone are usually far bigger than the property tax question anyway. This plan is really just a cherry on top of the cake that was already pretty appealing here in Florida. And for Oviedo and Winter Park specifically, my Seminole County and my Orange County people, a lot of homes are worth more than $250,000. So for plenty of houses, it's not your taxes are disappearing, it's the first $250,000 is protected and you're taxed on the rest. Still, it's a very, very meaningful chunk. Just, I want you to know the real math before you fall in love with the listing. Now, let's talk about the people who've been here and lived here for a long time, my locals. Your side is a little bit different and honestly a little bit more complicated. If you've already lived here and it's your primary home, you're first in line for the break. A lot of homeowners could see their property taxes drop significantly or completely disappear. Well, not completely disappear because we talked about the school thing. That is real money in your pocket every single year. But, and I'm gonna stay completely neutral here. I said that in the beginning of the video, and I'm gonna give you both sides, just the truth about both sides. There's a real debate about what happens to the things that those taxes pay for. And here's what supporters say, fairly stated. They argue that local governments have been spending too much, that the money that they collect has nearly doubled lately, and that homeowners deserve relief from bills that keep climbing. And they point out that voters get the final say, not the politicians. The framing is basically, what's there to be afraid of? Let the people decide. And here's what the other side says, just as fairly. Your property taxes pay for the fire, the police, the ambulances, the road repairs, the drainage, the parks, the libraries. One analysis estimated that the plan cuts money to local governments by about $4.6 billion at first, growing around $8.4 billion a year. So critics, a lot of city and county officials, some firefighter groups worry that this means cut to services, higher fees, and just costs getting shifted onto renters and businesses instead. And there's a local angle too. A while back, during an earlier tax change, a Winter Park mayor estimated a similar measure would cost the city around $750,000 a year. Our cities run on this money. So Oviedo, Winter Park, Maitland, Castleberry, every one of them has got to figure out how to handle this if it passes. One more thing worth knowing, lawmakers actually removed a provision that would have helped smaller rural counties that stand to lose the most. So how your specific town responds could vary a lot. Even the experts have flat out said that this thing is so big that no one really knows yet how each place is going to react. So if you already live here, here is my honest take. This is a genuine trade-off, not free money. There's no free lunch, right? Good neighbors are going to land in different places on this. And that's exactly why it's going to a vote. Let me give you the dates that matter so you can actually plan. November 3rd, that is the big one. It's on your ballot. It needs 60% to pass. If it doesn't hit 60%, none of this happens and things stay exactly the way that they are right now. If it does pass, that bigger break phases in over time. The $150,000 figure tied to 2027, $250,000 figure tied to 2028, and the lower cap on rentals and second homes start kicking in too. The eliminate property taxes completely part, that's not automatic. This sets up the framework and dictates future lawmakers to build a schedule towards getting rid of more of it over time. So property taxes are gone forever is a different direction they're headed, not a switch that flips overnight. Bottom line on timing, nothing changes for this year because of this. The soonest you'd feel a difference is 2027, and only if voters approve it in November. So let's make this practical. Here's what I would tell you, depending on who you are. If you're moving here, don't build your move around this tax bill that might not even apply to you for a few years. Build it around what the home actually costs in taxes right now. I can pull that exact number for you for any house in Oviedo, Winter Park, anywhere in the area. If the plan passes and helps you later, just treat that as a bonus. If you already live here, you know you're probably first in line for the break, which is amazing. I know that I'm looking forward to it, but keep an eye on your city and county budget conversations because that's where the how do we pay for things now question gets answered in your neighborhood. If you own a rental or a second home, watch that 5% cap. It changes your long-term math. And everybody, no matter how you feel about it, go vote in November. This is one of those rare cases where your ballot directly sets the rules for your own home. This is exactly why having someone local in your corner matters. The headlines give you the soundbite, the clickbait, and I give you the math on your street, your home, your situation. So if you're thinking about making a move to Central Florida, Oviedo, Winter Park, Lake Mary, Maitland, anywhere around here, reach out. The link is in the description. I'll send you the tax picture on any home that you're looking at, walk you through how this could change, and help you decide based on real numbers instead of headlines. If this video helped you, do me a favor and like it so it reaches more of your future neighbors, and subscribe so you catch the next breakdown. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.